seeing. Who did this?
P&P Tiki's and more, of course. Now I have a tiki hut for shade, and I can enjoy the sounds of my cascading fountain while feeding my koi fish in my own pond. They even fixed my fence and redid all my landscaping. Nice to see a professional, reliable, family-owned business. Yes, P&P Tiki's is the natural Florida tiki builder and water features designer. With free estimates, P&P Tiki's is licensed and insured. Call 352-877-3307 for your very own tiki hut and more. That's 352-877-3307. P&P Tiki's.
We are The Source, WOCA, news, talk, sports, and more.
All right, 25 minutes before 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. How many of you have your own business? I see a lot of hands. Actually, I don't see any hands. but it's one of those things. It's the American dream, right? And if you do have your own business, there are certain challenges associated with that. The biggest challenge is making it make money. Right? The whole cash flow thing, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Kala Gibson is going to help us with this. He is with the Fifth Third Bank Corp. He's the Senior Vice President, and he's an affiliate head of business banking as well. He's going to give us some tips to improve cash flow, especially if in a small business, how to define, develop, and execute an effective working capital management plan. And by the way, this is all part of the whole Small Business Week thing that is going on right now, which begins May 4th, I believe.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Kala Gibson. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Larry and Robin. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati?
Which is our headquarters, yes.
That's where the Polka Kings are from.
That's right.
Have you seen this new show with the Polka King?
I have not seen that show.
No.
They're fun.
I didn't know there was a lot of polka going on in Cincinnati, but apparently there is. And you know, in those guys, I mean, to connect that with what you're talking about, that's their small business. That's that little band. There's 4 or 5 people in it, and that's their business.
1 woman, 4 guys.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Larry, Robin. No, I'm really excited you're right about Small Business Week, which actually kicks off next week, May 4th through May 8th. Small Business Week has been around since 1963. It was started by President Kennedy to recognize the great contributions of our entrepreneurs and small business owners. So the purpose of this week really has evolved over the last 52 years with each financial institution really having their own focus. So Fifth Third has our focus, and our first thing we like to do is really just to thank our small business customers for their contributions to our economy and the community. As you guys probably know, small businesses are the heartbeat of our economy, creating 2 out of 3 new jobs a year. And so we really want to make sure that they feel appreciated and understand the significance that they provide to our economy.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. And secondly, we also like to take the opportunity to perform our annual review and checkup on our customers. Most small businesses don't have the resources to structure, what you mentioned earlier, an effective working capital program. So Fifth Third's job this week is really supporting small businesses, but doing it through providing tips to diagnose and develop an actual effective working capital program.
Oh, okay. And what would that mean for the small business? Is there something that they sign on to become a part of? How does that work?
Yeah, really, we try to provide this to our customers, but also just provide it to the community, because working capital really is critical to a small business. One of the primary reasons, Larry, that small businesses fail is really around poor working capital management. So one of the things we try to do is really just introduce an effective working capital program to really help them get through that process. You know, one of the most important things around working capital is really understanding your cash conversion cycle, and really that's being how fast can you change your inventory into cash. So if you can kind of dial that up faster, it's really going to help your company. But most importantly, it's going to help your company identify some hidden capital that may be in your balance sheet that will allow you to expand to other markets.
Oh, boy, that would be interesting to see an example. Is it possible to do that on this short interview, or is that something we would look at online? How do we see an example of that so we understand it better?
Yeah, typically our Fifth Third business bankers have a working capital tool that they'll sit down with the small business owner and actually put in their receivables, put in their payables, their inventory, and actually calculate how fast these things are turning and how they can generate more cash. So it's more of a working capital tool that business banker will sit down with that small business customer and walk them through. There's a significant amount of information and resources out there around working capital and the importance of working capital. You know, one of the great sites, actually, we have some information on our website at www.53.com. So there's a wealth of information out there to really help customers. But the first thing that I tell folks, particularly around the tips with small business owners, is to develop that relationship with a banker. Any banker, right? Obviously we hope it's us, but just find a good banker to kind of walk you through that and really be that partner to help you with some of your working capital challenges.
What is one of the main things that you look for when a small business is created and then they need to get their initial working capital and a loan from the bank? What do they bring to you that will make you accept their proposal and you give them the loan?
Yeah, one of the most important things, Robin, is really around that business plan, right? Having a clear understanding of the markets that they're looking to pursue, that they've done the appropriate analysis or the SWOT analysis around their business. And then also we want to look at some financials and projections and have a good understanding of what they're looking to build. Because a lot of times there's opportunities that we may be able to refer these guys to one of our resource centers or one of our partners, small business partners, to help them build that business plan. And then there's also a significant amount of capital programs out there, particularly for startups, that to help them fund their ideas and help them actually grow. So the goal really would be to sit down, go through that business plan, and then provide them with information for capital and other assistance that may be needed by a small business owner.
Does the tool help the small business person provide the first? The Fifth Third Bank, does it help them? Is the communication enhanced because of that tool? I guess that's what I want to know. Because a lot of times, here's what happens to me: I'll call the bank and I don't even know what to ask. Like I'll be looking at my numbers and I'm like even confused how to even ask the question I need to ask. Will that tool help me with that?
Yeah, the tool somewhat demystifies, right, the balance sheet. Because a lot of times, you're right, as a small business owners say, hey, I have a great idea. I know how to make this idea work. They thought about marketing and all those things. The thing that kind of hangs us up a lot is really around understanding how our cash is going to work. And if we actually need cash or capital to start a business. I'll give you a great example. There was a small business owner that was interested in starting a restaurant. They applied for a loan at another bank. It was declined, and thought that their dream was decimated at that point. And so I explained to them that actually, because you're looking to start a restaurant, probably the best thing to do is to find a landlord that recently had a restaurant at their location and really just try to negotiate a lease, because in that case there, you already have the equipment. The building is already there as well, so you can start that business with a little bit of capital versus if you actually went out to buy a building or to buy equipment. So there's a lot of different ways and things you can do, from a creativity standpoint, to really figure out how to find that capital. And again, that's why I go back to, it's really important to have that banking partner, because they're the ones to be able to provide that free advice to you to kind of walk you through that process.
Oh, wow. And they've probably worked with other people before you who they have experience with.
Exactly, because when you think about it, small business, and particularly business bankers and working with small businesses, they see several hundred, right, companies and industries. So they've developed those connections and they've seen a lot. So then again, they can be that advisor, that kind of strategic partner to really help you plan out your business.
Do you help them give out stock offerings if that's the direction that they want to go down the road? Do you help them with that to try to make their company public with stock?
Yeah, so typically with a small business, small businesses usually are those smaller, under $10 million businesses, but eventually, you're right, these businesses start to evolve and grow. And one of the goals of Fifth Third Bank is that we're with that company through their entire life cycle. So that's from the beginning of their business, starting their business, helping them with capital and working capital. But then also as they grow, they have more complex needs, and maybe those needs include derivatives and other things that they're needed to grow. But then eventually, you're right, the business either is going to be sold by that owner, passed on to future generations, and our job at Fifth Third is to help with that transition. So that could be, you're right, selling the business, issuing stock, or just passing that business down to the next generation.
Kala Gibson, thank you for being on the air with us. Before we say goodbye, you mentioned the website earlier. You said 53.com?
Yes, www.53.com, and that's the number 53.
The number 5 and 3. And the tool that you referred to, is that something we download? Is it an app for our phones? What is the tool exactly?
Yeah, so the actual working capital tool is something that our business bankers have with them to walk, to individually face-to-face walk them through the process. But there's a lot of other free information out there at our resource center that's around, working capital and what have you. But the goal would be to connect with a Fifth Third business banker and have them walk you through the tool.
All right. Mr. Kala Gibson, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. Have a great day in Cincinnati. Look up the Polka Kings, by the way.
Yeah, you'll like them. They're fun.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Larry. Thanks, Rob.
Go to 53.com. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Intervals of clouds and sun becoming breezy and less humid, the high 78 to 82. Tonight will be mainly clear and comfortable with a low of 56 and a few woodland spots, 62 along the coast. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy and pleasant, high 79 to 83. Saturday, nice with sunshine, high 78 to 82. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day.